Hello, my dear friends. This is Raju from Varangal. I request you all, please watch the complete video. And if you like the content, please subscribe my channel and share with your friends for more subscriptions. Your subscription encourages me to compose more videos on literature. Now, in this video, I'm going to discuss with you a very interesting information about the literary form of poetry, the ode. Okay, friends, let us see a very important features of ode. The ode is actually originated from Greek word. It is ode, which means chant or sing. Yes, actually, the ode is offspring of the lyric. That's why we called the lyric as the parent form of ode. So it is a lyric poem. It is highly solemn. Solemn means formal and dignified and serious in its tone and subject matter. What does it mean here? The theme and the way of presentation is very formal and dignified, and the subject matter and also very serious, not funny way. You can understand the other way. The theme of ode is significant and dignified. The poet is serious both in the choice of his subject and in the manner of its presentation. Naturally, the ode is longer than the lyric poem. It is elevated in style or tone and elaborate in its stanzaic structure. It does not aim at giving the effect of unpremeditated art. What does it mean? Unpremeditated art. It means you never thought before or planned before. So that is the point you need to remember. It is often in the form of an address, means you are advising to someone or you are expressing your feelings to someone, or it can be speaking to someone. So that means the form of an address. If you look at the opening lines of the ode, it contains an apostrophe, or you can call an appeal, which is the characteristic of the whole treatment of the poem. In literature, a writer or speaker using apostrophe speaks directly to someone who is not present or is dead, or speaks to an inanimate object. Means here I provided what is an apostrophe, where a poet or a speaker who imagines to someone who is with him, but really the person is not existed with him or not present with him. That person might be passed away, but he imagines and speaks to that particular person individually. So that kind of attitude is called apostrophe in literature form. For example, you can see that quality The beginning lines of the Odes written by Shelley. It is Ode to the West Wind. In this ode, the first line is "Oh, wild west wind." Means here, west wind. Actually, it is not a particular person. It is not a thing. It cannot give him any reply, but he is speaking to the wind. So this is called an apostrophe. Keats, ode on aggression on. In this ode, the first line is, "Thou still unravished bride of quietness." Tennyson's also in his uh, ode to Virgil, Roman Virgil, though that suggest it is used sometime commemorate an important public occasion like a national jubilee, the death of a distinguished personage, the commemoration of the founding of a great university. So this is another important feature of ode. Okay, and the poem, the poet who commemorate or recalls a particular person's death or jubilee, a public occasion. For example, this quality you can see in the poem Marvels upon Cromwell's written from Ireland. Even in another poem also, that is Tennyson's Ode on the Death of the Duke of Wellington. Do you know the types of ode? Yeah, there are three types of ode. It can be called the Dorian ode or Pindaric ode. The second one is the Lesbian or Horatian ode. And third one is irregular. Now let us look at the features of the Dorian or Pindaric ode. Why do they call it is the Dorian ode or Pindaric ode? Such kind of information let us see. This form of poetry was born from the district and dialect of the Dorians, who were one of the three tribes of ancient Greeks who had their own dialect and culture. So it was called the Dorian ode. Do you like, friends? Yes. Now this ode can be called as Pindaric ode. It is because it was named after an ancient Greek poet, Pindar, who began writing choral poems that were meant to be sung at public events. The Dorian or Pindaric ode was choric and was sung to the accompaniment of a dance, and they used the instruments such as the aloes and lyre to compose the music, right? It contains three parts. The first part is, you can say this is a stanza form. So the first stanza form is called strophe. The second one is antistrophe. And the final stanza is called as epode. With irregular rhyme patterns and lengths of lines. There are no any fixed particular patterns, okay, with this poem. So let us understand. During the recitation of ode, the dancers make turns. During the recitation of ode, the dancers make turns, right? That turn is called these three parts. So when the first stanza strophe recited, the dancers make a turn from the right to the left. And when the second stanza antistrophe reciting, the dancers make a counter turn from the left to the right. And when it comes to the point of final stanza, epode, the dancers stand still. They do not move either right to left or left to right. They stand still. The sequence of strophe, antistrophe, and epode can be repeated any number of times in an ode of this type. If you look at the ode of Gray, the progress of poesy, and the bird, you will come to know all these characteristics. To know the details of the lesbian or Horatian ode. It is a second category of ode, right? Why are we late? Let us know that. The lesbian ode, named after the island of Lesbos, where it is originally flourished. It was popularized in Latin by two great Roman writers. One is Horace and the second one is Catullus. The name Horatian ode was taken from the Latin poet Horace. The works of Horace, in particular, served as a model to English imitators of the form, and English odes of this type are commonly known as Horatian odes. The lesbian ode was simpler in form than the Pindaric. It is informal, mediative, and intimate. Horatian ode is known as a homostrophic ode. Each stanza in the Horatian ode form has the same meter, rhyme scheme, and length, and it consists of a number of short stanzas similar in length and arrangement. The treatment is direct and dignified, and the thought clearly developed. These odes dwelt upon interesting subject matters that were simple and were pleasing to the senses. If you look at the following examples, Andrew marvels upon Cromwell's return from Ireland, which is a lesbian ode. The third category is irregular ode. It was developed by Abraham Coley in 1656. He imitated the Pindaric style and matter, but he disregarded the recurrent stanzaic pattern in each strophic triad. Instead, he allowed each stanza to establish its own pattern of variable line length, number of lines, and rhyme scheme. This type of irregular stanzaic structure, which is free to alter in accordance with shifts in subject and mood, has been the most common for the English ode ever since. Wordsworth's ode on intimations of immortality is representative of irregular ode. Now let us answer some objective questions based on the ode. The first question is here. The lyric is the parent form of. It is ode. Option B. The ode is a derivative of Greek word ode, which means to. What does it mean? Chant, sing means both A and B. So answer is D. Now the remaining questions you need to answer yourself, and if you have any doubts, please let me know through your comments. The third question is the tone, style, subject of the ode is. You need to find answer. Fourth question is which form of poetry does not aim at giving the effect of unpremeditated art? Find the fourth question. The ode is often in the form of, is it in address, response, commemorate, both A and C? Which one is right? The sixth question is the opening lines of ode sometimes contain, is it assonance or an apostrophe or alliteration? Which is, or all of them? The strophe, antistrophe, and epode are the stanzas of. The eighth question. An antistrophe was a dancer's turn from. Ninth question. Lesbian ode was popularized in Latin by two great Roman writers. Find who are they. Last question. Who introduced the irregular ode in 1656? Yeah, it is very simple. You find it. Thank you for watching complete video. Please subscribe my channel and share with your friends.